Hello, welcome back to my bench. Today we've got a Comrex Access rack unit. The complaint on this one is it kept shutting down. So we'll see what we can do to figure that out. I think Comrex said check the caps on the motherboard. So I'm not sure what all's in this thing. I've never had one apart. Still lots of screws. But like I said before, most companies that build stuff for radio stations, they make sure that they put lots of screws in here to fight off RF, so the RF doesn't get into the insides of it and make noise. Some do it a lot more diligently than others. This one's going to be a complete surprise. Like I said, I've never worked on one. I've worked on the handheld portion. Matter of fact, I think there's a video of it, which I'll see if I can make a flag to that. But I've never had to tear one of these apart. Okay, well, it's got a little single board computer. Audio input board with SSM 2142s, some sort of a chip. Don't know what that is. It is a dusty, can't even see it. CY7C 64713. Okay, that's a big chip. This is some sort of RAM here. ZBAKD00133 or CS8420. Yeah, CS8420. So, not a lot in there, I guess. This is probably a modem. I don't know. Doesn't really say on it. We'll look it up. MT5600 SMI. And that's plugged into the board, but made by somebody else. And a power supply. Little switching power supply. Well, what do we think here? I do not see any bulging caps in the power supply or in the board itself. I don't see anything desperately wrong over here, but it is full of 10 microfarad 50 volt surface mounts. There's a few stand-ups, capacitors, I don't know what they are, 25 volt, 10 microfarads at 25 volts, and 22 at 35s. And then the power supply over here. Now, this one's intermittent, so it's not going to be dead, but we got We got one cap bulging right there. It's leaning over. Alright, well, let's take the power supply out first. Oh, that's cute. This board's got a little Comrex access card in here. Kingston Technologies card. This thing is not new by any stretch of the imagination, so tell you what, let's get the power supply out of here first. I saw what it was doing. It just locks up. The audio signal in the front just goes to one spot and won't move. And the only way to get it to come back on is to unplug it. Wait a minute, plug it back in again. So we'll see. That is one tiny little yeah. Don't know who made this power supply. We'll see if we can figure that out once we get into it here. Now the power supply is going to be, wow, show is good, of course. Wow, they wanted to put this one on here and make sure it wasn't going anywhere. Because the thing does actually work for a while, which means intermittent. Every technician's greatest joy. I have a feeling that this is just going to be a recap. Wonder if I can get to those with the little, maybe, but I doubt it. Yes. Yeah, the screw is not high enough that I can't get to it. Cool. Sensors. Loctite on them. This is a good thing. Now, is that all of them? Probably not. No, here's another one right here. Yeah, I'm going to eat up that capacitor getting to it, though. Fantastic. Oh, goody, and there's another one over here. That is not get-toable. Well, let's see, where's that screwdriver? Maybe I can get it this way. Aha. Yes. And of course that one was glued down. It would be. Any more? No. Really? They put glue underneath this power supply board. Some sort of gluey something. And what exactly was the purpose behind that? Oh no, it's not. It was just wedged in there very well. Okay, well, everything looks okay on here, with the exception of this capacitor. So, get everybody turned on here. Let's see what we can find out. That is very well wedged in there. It goes this way. I don't know. It's hard to tell since it's so well packed in there, but it's way over here. Well, we'll just have to do the wiggle method. Since it's not even actually put down on the board, it's wow. This is definitely called an afterthought. Let's try here. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, those are it. Need a little more heat because this is definitely sucking up the power. It's just sort of cockeyed in there. One side definitely goes to ground. So all right. That's a weird form. Okay, the ground goes on the little dot. Okay. 2200 at 6.3 volts. Seeing as how it's starting to bulge out the top, I'm pretty much willing to bet that this thing isn't any good. Let's see. Testing. Capacitor, 137 microfarads, 133 microfarads, 3.8 ohms. That thing's usually right, but I'll tell you what, I want to I want to test it with this guy. A little more accurate. I wish this thing came with batteries. All right. First of all, let's put it on 100 hertz, capacitors only, negative, positive, and see what it says. Can you see that? 51 microfarad, 32 ohms. Yeah, 43.9 phase. That cap is shot. Definitely. Okay. Well, problem with this particular repair is, if at all possible, I have to get it back before tomorrow. Well, tomorrow. Yeah. Get out my little pokey tools here. There we go. All right, so we need what? 2200 at 6.3. I wonder if I got that. I hope so, or something close to it. Considering it was more or less working. Little son of a gun. Ta-da! I believe it's a Nichicon. Alright, let's test this one. So I'm not chasing myself around in circles because I put a bad part in. And see what it says. It says 780 at 79 milliohms, 84.93 phase. Okay. Good enough for a power supply cap. This thing will actually, looks like the same style. They just sort of wedged it in there, so I suppose I can do the same thing. Not knowing where that went. Definitely bulgy, but I'll tell you what, let's take out another one. Let's take out this partner to it right here, which I believe, yeah, it's that one. Good old horrible solder. Well, that ain't it, so this has to be it. I think. Okay, that's definitely that. And that's... yeah. It's just this awful solder they're using. So hard to get off. There we go. Let's see what this guy looks like. And he is... same thing. 2200. .2 millifarads, 463. Wow. 55 degrees of phase. Really? Well, that one's definitely no good. $55. I believe that's the lowest I've ever seen. I'm going to have to order more 2200s. What's this one say? 2.5, 86 degrees, 47 milliohms. Okay. So this one's good. Proves the other one was definitely bad. Why did you let me put that other capacitor in there backwards? I did. I put that other capacitor in there backwards. I do believe. Yes, sir, Bob, I most certainly did. Okay. So just because it's not bubbled up doesn't mean it's any good. Good lesson. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get that thing in there. I'm going to have to use another cap. I have several of these and I have no idea why. It's a good thing because I goofed up. So hard to see in there. Alright, well, let's go for this guy over here. I think that's going to be... This one isn't 2200. I don't know what this one is. This one is 1016. So let's try this one. See what it says. And it says 1087 degrees, 0.064. Wow. That's a good one. That's a fine one. What if I got any? I would just as soon not have to do this again. There's 1016. Yeah, this thing is used quite a lot in the age of COVID. It was used a tremendous amount because the radio station teams were working from home, and this was the way. Oh, let's check this first. And this was the way they got back into the station. They used the Comrex. So it's 86.1 ohms ESR. Okay, that's good. Negative over here. So the with the threat of this new, evidently pretty virulent strain of COVID, this Delta variant, as they're calling it, there's a chance that the stations may say, okay, guys, you're working from home again starting, yesterday. Just stay at home. And if they do, this thing's got to work. Because it's the only way they got to get in. Okay, so those three are done. Let's check this guy. I'm just going to let this thing roll. Where are you? Here? Yeah. I'm just going to let the recording roll while I do this. Get rid of everything post. A lot of the stuff I do you guys don't get to see. Either because I'm in a big hurry, or it's a repeat of something else I've done. I do a lot of repeats. A lot of 528Es, that's for sure. Those things are bread and butter. I hate this solder. This isn't even new stuff. This is antique crap here. What's this one? Another 2200. What's this one saying? 2.7, 81 degrees, 90 milliohms. 81 degrees. That's not being real good right there. I think I can get this one. I believe this was my new one. Yeah, 81 degrees phase is a little on the shy side. You want like at least 85, 87, somewhere around there. I'll be able to use this one since I already cut his leads off. Maybe. I don't have a never-ending supply of these. Aha! I got it! Okay. At least this one they mounted all the way down the board. That's nice of them. Those other two 2200s were kind of floating. Alright. Here's another 2200, and I think it's right there. So much easier when you can actually get a hold of them. Make sure it's got a dark spot. It does. Yep, 2200 to 16 seems to be their favorites. And this one is good. This one is fine. Don't have any more 2200s. I don't. Well, I do, but I've got to make sure I've got enough to do the rest of this. But I got to. What about you? And you are there. Yeah. And you are a 1000 at 6.3 volts. Must be on the 5-volt rail of this thing. And it says, fine. Okay. Since this one is so short, wow. Really? I forgot I'm supposed to say something. Oops. Oops. All right, let's do this side too.
I think you forgot something, my love.
What? Oh, my coffee?
I'll put it on your black thing over here.
Thank you.
Get it off for you because it doesn't twist like everything else. What? But hold it by the top. The top comes off, you go in, go out, and then look
Got it. Wow. It's actually easier to use new stuff. Like I said, I'm just kind of running out, and it's not like I could just go order a bunch of these, because this has to be back working tomorrow. All right, well, there's all of those. I have the feeling the rest of these are okay, but I'm going to check this. This 47, a couple of them over here on the other side of the board, on the hot side. If these guys go bad, well, it just takes out the whole power supply. But they can cause some catastrophic damage also. Yeah, you're marked. One of the things when you're taking caps out, make sure that you know which direction to put them back in. Not all boards are marked. And not all boards are even marked from one part of the board to the other. So just because this side had the markings on them doesn't mean this side's 43, 2 ohms, 86 degrees. Okay, that's good. Just because these were marked with the negative doesn't mean this side's going to be also. Okay. All right. You've probably seen enough of this. I mean, you've seen people change capacitors before, I'm sure. So it's not like you really What about you? Now see, you're busted. Sometimes they glue these things down. And when they do, they get hit. And when they get hit, where is it that I'm trying to show you here? I don't know if you can see that. See that pad wiggling? Well, not supposed to wiggle like that because that means it's come loose from the board. And if they haven't soldered the capacitor down hard or flat onto the board, like they didn't solder this one down flat on the board, it can create a seriously sad weak place where it'll break the pads on the board. What are you? 2.2 microfarad, 37 ohms. Okay, that's way too high. What is it supposed to be? 2.2. Well, no, not actually. It's not. 2.2 at 250. Okay. I don't even have one of those. Well, since it's at 250, then the 2 ohms is 37 ohms, probably not too bad. That is a weird capacitor, and I have none of them. What kind of manufacturer would go for that kind of capacitor? That's just silly. In design circles, that would be, I got a design, it won't work, we need this here. Well, then put it there. even if it is a very strange part nobody's ever going to have. All right. Well, there's all the biggies, all the important ones. Well, there is this one over here. Yeah. What are you? 1 at 50 or 2 at 50? .7 at 50. That's one thing about these little power supplies. They sure do manage to pack a lot of crap into a very small space. So I'm looking at probably 4.7 on this, or 4 point something, 4.2, 86 degrees, 34 ohms, 4.7 at 50. I think I got one of those. I think I got them. Yeah, I got those. So we just won't even take the chance with that one. See what this one says. I mean, they're not going to be 0 ohm. I mean, 0.1 something ohms at 4.7. But they shouldn't be more than a couple of ohms. Yeah, it's like this one, 4.6, 89.7, and 6 ohms. Okay, good enough. Negative. Usually they mark the positive sides. That's kind of weird. Okay. I mean, not really weird, but Okay. Okay. Those are all the ones I'm worried about. I checked the others. They seem to be okay. All right. Let us make sure. That was right. That was right. Yeah, I think I got them all in there right. I hope. Yeah, there's the dot on that one. I know that one's right. That was right. There's the dot on that one. Okay. All right. Well, let's put this thing back in the box and at least turn it on. I'm not going to seal it all up yet. Get the... There you are. All right. I'm just going to slap this thing in here and set it down. I'm not going to fasten it yet. Because once this corner's fastened, it's kind of hard to get out. All right. Feed her some audio and see what happens here. Okay. What have I got? Audio in. Line in left. Okay. Power cord. Yeah, I think this thing will handle the current. Go up there so you're out of my way. We are off. Okay. This is good. And light bulb test. Cool. It booted. Alright, so now let's see. Turn on old number 5 here. Okay, well, I got all the caps changed on the power supply board, and it's back in, and it's a working. But considering this thing is old, I'm going to recap it all, and I'm not going to make you all sit through that. But power supply is working good. I think let's turn on the meter. Take a look at some voltages here. Just because, let me get it up. This video, not scripted. It's just as I do it. So, you know, it's not up to my professional standards. Yeah. Alright, let's see. There's that one. What do we got here? 5 volts is good. 12 volts is good. Power good is good. I don't know. Let's see. 3.2 volts is good. And this blue one, minus 12 is 11.7. Okay. So, we're good for that. I had to go turn the air conditioner on. I'm hot. 92 outside. Anyhow. So, I'm going to set about doing all the caps on here, the service mounts and the through holes. And just to be on the safe side. And I'll bring you back when that's done. Okay, well, I recapped everything. The main board, the actually computer board, was fine. All the caps on it were well within spec. Some of them a lot better. This one, I went through and checked all of the capacitors on here. All of these 100 volts or 100 microfarads at 50 volts, I took them off and checked them. They're all fine. They're all good. But all the 10 microfarad at 50 volts were all bad. So I had to change all of those. They were all really high on ESR and way down on microfarads. So they were not in spec, and they were high on ESR. I mean, high in the range of 25 to 30 ohms. So I changed all of those. These guys are all fine. Good thing too, because I don't have any of those. They're all non-polarized caps up in there. But they all checked out just fine. So we'll go put it back together again and see what I can. We'll plug it in and let it run and see what happens after I clean a little bit of the board off. Well, there we go. It's all recapped. Let's see, what's the damage? A bunch of 10 microfarads, 50 volts. Over here, all of these guys, all these hundreds were okay. All the 2200s in the power supply, and a couple of, well, there was 1,000 in there. Plus, I did change a 22 at 16 over here. I oiled up the fan, got it to working. I don't have one in stock. The engineer at the radio station is going to have to change that. Motherboard, I only had to change 2 caps, really. This big one back here, and one of these over here. But they were just out of tolerance a little bit. ESR was okay. And everything else checked out just fine. So it's up, it's running, and we're going to let it burn for a while. So, and if anything goes wrong with it, I'll be sure to tack it onto the end of here. But for now, it's running, it's working. I can get it back tomorrow morning for him if everything goes good. Let's see, let's turn the input down a little bit, make sure. Yep, it went down. It went up. Yep, so it's not locked up, it's doing just fine. Plus, I got it on my screen up here. Anyhow, there we go. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe down there. And comment if you want to. Another piece of radio station equipment, or TV, I guess, if all they want's audio. That's done and going back in the rack tomorrow morning. Till next time.